Welcome back to the podcast called Tell the World. I'm your host. What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Yes, we're back. We're back on the show, and today I will be working on some things about courage in our everyday life. And I have wrote some notes down where I'm gonna include Einstein in it. It's not just my words, but his words, his quotes, and things just to get us going in life. Sometimes when we're feeling a little bit scared, afraid, or some type of fear. Let's jump into it, guys. You heard it first. Okay, we're back. So let's jump into our everyday of just having courage, right? This is some things that I combined together to inspire us. So I got Einstein, some of his quotes, right, and some things, some insights, just that's gonna just help us and get us inspired, right? All right, so this will blend in our personal motivation. And I'll be having Einstein in this, the mindset of Einstein, in quotes, giving you a powerful science that meets soul and the angle of life, right? All right, so, um, we're talking about quiet, kind, and bravery, right? So, everyday courage, not cliff jumping. Definitely not that. That's not courage. That's just some shit that I'll be afraid to do. I think that'll knock the courage out of you. Okay, maybe running and maybe running into a burning building. How about that? Maybe running into a burning building is better courage, right? Because you're saving somebody, right? You're going in there and you just have no fear. You're jumping right in to go save somebody. You know, the daily acts of honesty and persistence and our faith that change the course of our lives. Sometimes it just takes one thing that can just change the course in your life to give you courage and you take off like a roaring lion in everything that you deal with. Because it just takes a couple of things to build your courage up. And sometimes it just takes one thing. And one thing meaning what? What you're afraid of, your fear. Because once you conquer one thing, you can conquer anything with a bit of courage, right? I remember I was reading some about Albert Einstein. He once said, "A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new." And this is just life, you know. Anything that we're dealing with in life, and sometimes things become a mistake, and you either learn from it or you just be defeated with it as a failing moment in your life. But it's still time to pick up your sword and your shield and get back into yourself, right? So anything that you try new in life and it fails, it could be anything. It could be a relationship, it could be a marriage, it could be going to college where you dropped out and things like that. It could be something in sports where you just gave up and you come back. You come back with a bit of courage and you get better at it, right? You get better at it. So those are one of Einstein's personal quotes. He said, "A person who never made a mistake never tried anything." Real courage is exactly that, trying when you could fail. Trying when you can fail, because we all have failed. I would hope. I mean, if not, you're, you're a god. But if you didn't, that's good. But for some of us, sometimes failing sometimes builds our courage up, right? Get us better in life. I see that in myself. Sometimes when you're speaking in silence would be easier because sometimes defeat, sometimes you just get silent sometimes. And sometimes you just got to be choosing growth over comfort, right? Growth over comfort. Don't get comfortable with failing, right? Never get comfortable with losing an opportunity that came through and you failed it and you just left it like that and just tucked your tail and just didn't do nothing about it. You didn't try to, go back to the drawing board to get yourself together. So, in this episode, we'll look at how Einstein's way of thinking, curiosity, and bold problem solving. You got to think outside the box of everybody. And Einstein theory is always simple cities, simple thinking, not stressful, but thinking simple, very simple. Just being easy on yourself. Don't be hard, because sometimes we be too hard on ourselves. The words get bigger and very challenging in our lives. So we got to think about that too, because uh, we can guide us ourselves and show up with a braver in our own ordinary moments. Like sometimes you come back better in moments of your own, right? Personal moments of your own, you just come back better. You just come back better in life. And sometimes in life, everything is timing, right? Everything is just timing, just doing things for the right time that's best for you. Sometimes we're not ready yet. Sometimes it takes time to be ready. Right time, perfect time. Remember that. And remember, here's one of Einstein's words here: life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Let's move together. That's what you have to do. You have to keep going. You have to keep moving. Sometimes you're going to get a recess with yourself to catch yourself, to get your mind together on things. And you may not be quite ready because you're not quite focused. But think of life like, riding a bicycle. You just keep your balance. You're going to fall, but you're going to keep your balance. I remember I could not ride a bike on the dirt road, which was weird. But I seemed to be able to ride it better in the grass, because I noticed that about myself. Every time I got into the dirt road to ride the bike, I would fall off. But when I was in the yard heading to the dirt road, you know, I would fall. But when I was in the grass, I could ride it. But when I get to the dirt road, I fell off. So that's when I just kept practicing, and I knew that me falling was me being afraid to keep going. That's why I was afraid. I was afraid to keep paddling and afraid that I was going to fall and hurt myself in the rocks versus the grass. So, with me just keep practicing, I got better and better and better until I just started riding that dirt bike all down that dirt road like a champ. And think about this: courage is what I just said about that bike. Consistency, right? Not drama. Drama is going to stop you from doing what you need to do. But consistency keeps you on those paddles, to on those wheels, and keep moving and keep paddling until you stay on, right? Now, drama is going to make you afraid, and you're going to be upset, and you're going to fall off, right? That's how life is. You're going to fall off. Think about that. And think about other things that's encouraging. What if you want to just change your lifestyle on how you're eating and you're concerned about your health? It takes a bit of courage to think about yourself in a healthy way, right? So you want to try to do things to, get your health back on track, right? And it takes courage. These are examples, like forgiving someone, right? Sometimes our egos are so big that we're afraid to forgive someone, that we're still caught up in the moment of not being so forgiving, right? And that can be a bit of drama. That's a good example. Or what if you were starting a project and you decided to just put it on hold because it failed, or something didn't go through, you didn't get the contract, or just anything that causes you to lose the courage of yourself to keep, as well as the project. You want to stick with that project, and even though you do fail, just go back to the drawing board. Learn the lessons and learn the failing, right? Understand the failing, but go back and learn the lesson. Get your answers. Go back to the drawing board, they always say. That's part of life. That's your life. When you fail, when you make a mistake, go to the drawing board. Einstein took all of his theories, took all of his problem solving to what? The drawing board, right? That's what he did. I'll give you one of Einstein's first key points of curiosity over fear, right? And here's a quote: the important thing is not to stop questioning, right? Never stop questioning things that you don't know. Sometimes it takes a bit longer for the answer, right? Versus the question. You may not understand the question, but you got the answer. But if you don't understand the question, how you gonna understand getting to the answer of things? So don't never stop questioning things and researching the answer because it's real important. Encourage means asking, right? Asking. You don't know, you don't understand. So don't shoot yourself down on something you don't know. Ask somebody. Go find someone that can help you with the answer. Why not? Why not look for someone to help you? Sometimes we get a little too cocky where we're afraid to ask people or we're too prideful to ask. Even when, others doubt us, and we don't want all of that on us. Life can be a bit overwhelming, but this is a part of life when it's when you're growing, when life gets challenging, when you feel a bit discouraged about things, right? You feel a bit discouraged about things. This is how life brings you into questioning about things that you just don't know or you have fear in. Now, what about one of Einstein's other key points? Embracing, embracing mistakes. It's okay for mistakes, right? Because you didn't know. I didn't know, right? Here's another quote from Einstein. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. Remember, I said that earlier. You didn't know. It's your first time. Everything is keep practicing, keep studying, and just hang in there with yourself. Keep trying, right? I had a quote up early about keep trying, keep applying yourself. It all works. Trust me, it all works. Treat all of your failures as experiments, not endings, right? Because it does feel like an experiment in life, right? And you tried something and it failed and it felt like it just blew up in your face or in others' faces where people just looked at you a certain way. This is the biggest challenge in life is when you are around amongst others and you fail in front of people. It could be your mom, your dad, your siblings, and you just feel like you let them down. But you didn't because it takes bravery to get out there and do some of these magnificent things that you can do out there. Some people can't do it, but you can. And that's what I talked about early about motivating others. I always get encouraged by people who know something and I don't know. And that really impresses me. It really does. I hope that impresses you guys too. When you see other people that can do amazing things, who wouldn't want to be encouraged, right? Let's go with the action, a call action number 5, okay? All right. I invite you to do something small and very courageous of yourself. This is an act that you could do today or maybe tomorrow, right? Do something courageous for yourself, and come on here on the show, leave a comment and share it with me. Share something very encouraging that you were afraid to do, but you just got the courage to do it and you did it. Leave those comments. I want to hear that because that's really important to share things. Because us sharing moments in our lives to encourage people, they can see what you went through, reading what you went through, understanding that we all are human and that things, you know, in life gonna be feeling like we're failing, but we're not. We're gonna fail if we don't have courage, right? But a bit of courage can get you a long way, right? If you keep trying. So let's jump into Einstein's first key to everyday courage: curiosity over fear. Trust me, there are moments for some of us, I know you guys can relate. Sometimes you got to stand on stage, or you got to read out, or you got to sing in front of an audience. Your nerves, your courage is not there. You are afraid, you're stage fright. You're scared to speak up loud when it comes to reading, and it just takes so much courage and so much time to get out there and do that. But do you know that when you go out there being afraid and doing it and making a mistake, you are building courage for yourself, right? You're building that. I myself am a Leo, so I take on tasks that I'm afraid to do. And I encourage myself sometimes, and it's just weird, because for some reason, for my courage, how I build it, I have to be afraid. That's when I challenge myself. I have to be afraid of things, and that makes me want to do it more. But what if somebody out there was challenging you to do something and you were afraid? Do you think that you could still do something and have courage or not have courage? Something to think about, huh? Trust me, I've been there. Now, fear, y'all, loves to whisper. Fear, it loves to whisper in your thoughts, into your heart. Trust me, I know. Don't ask, don't try, stay safe. But Einstein reminded us that the important thing is not to stop questioning. You never want to stop questioning things you don't know, because if you don't keep questioning, it'll never click into your mind of researching for that answer, because that's the curiosity, the answer to things that you question. It's our own reason for existing, right? You gotta ask, you gotta know, you gotta question, right? It's very important. And remember this, think about this. The man who redefined physics didn't begin with certainty, right? Einstein didn't know this. He began with questioning things, right? He began with questioning things. And what if lights bend? Think about that. What if lights bends? What if time isn't fixed? He didn't wait until he felt brave. He simple stayed curious. That's everything in life. Stay curious, right? Especially if it's something you're trying to achieve, something that you're trying to break through in life, right? Stay curious. Keep trying. These are moments in your life that definitely defines who you are and where you're gonna be in life. And our own lives. Courage rarely looks like shouting in the face of danger, right? Think about David and Goliath. Remember how that turned out, right? More often, it's a quiet question about your bravery, about yourself. What if I apply for that new job, right? What if I speak honestly to someone I love? Now, think about the job. You're scared because you feel like you don't have the skills, but what if you got an opportunity to get the job without the skills? Could you still have the nerve and the courage to go in that company and learn the operation, right? What if I start that project I've been dreaming about, right? Think about all those things you can do in life. All those things. And here's the other thing I'm going back to. What if I speak honestly to someone I love? Think about that. That's very important when it comes to relationships. Curiosity pulls us forward while fear, fear tries to definitely freeze us up, right? You follow the questions, the fear, the losses, the power of life, man, the power. I'll give you, let me see. I'll give you some simple exercises here for yourself, myself included. I'm part of this exercise too. You can try this today or tomorrow or whenever you got the time. Grab a notebook, right? And write one bold question about your life, right? Just write one bold question about your life and begin with what if. Start it off with what if. That's your question about your life. You don't know the answer yet. Just put what if, right? Write that down. And then write this next. How might I, and just leave it as a question mark, okay? This is all personal for you. These are going to be your answers that need to be fulfilled in your life. Those gaps, those questions, you need those answers, but they gotta come from you because you're gonna research that. Don't worry about the answers, right? Don't even worry about that. You know why? Because Einstein didn't have the answers when he began, right? Your only job is to keep questioning why you're alive, right? Very important. You're alive and you got so much time to question and to find your answers. And think about this, every breakthrough, every piece of art, every moment toward healing starts with a question. Even when we choose curiosity, right? Over fear, curiosity over fear. We give ourselves permission to grow, right? This is all you. You are giving yourself permission to try, to get back on that bike and to start riding, right? You know you're gonna fall, but you're gonna keep trying until you get it figured out. The idea to stay on that bike is to keep paddling, right? Keep paddling until you get it all figured out, like staying on it and gaining control of steering that bike ahead. And remember this, courage isn't absence of fear. It's the decision to stay curious in spite of it. Stay always curious. So act boldly, explore yourself bravely. As Einstein proved, the world changes when someone dares to wonder in their lives. So as we close out on everyday's courage, that's the topic today. That's going to be the topic. As we close out today's journey, remember these things. You may have to replay this because you may not remember, but just replay on it just to listen. Every courage, everyday courage, right? I want you to keep some of these formulas in mind. Stay curious when fear says stop. Embrace mistakes. It's just mistakes. The sky's not falling. The world's not going to end. As proof that you're trying something new, right? These are things I want you to write down. Stay curious and embrace your mistakes. And the next one would be keep moving, even in small steps. You need that momentum, and that builds your balance when you keep moving, y'all. And one more thing to remember, every courage isn't about a gesture. It's about quiet, daily decisions, right? To ask questions, right? Always ask questions. Take the step and keep paddling forward. Now, guys, if you like this show right here, I hope it's really encouraging you. I hope it puts something planted in your thought about yourself. Um, like, share, and subscribe to the show. Follow me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. Trust me. Put in Tell the World podcast, and I'm going to pop up in your face. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. You heard it first.